Don't look under the internet.
Oh man, it's great. You have to watch
Okay.
it. There is actually a pretty great bit, like right after the credits. It's amazing.
I will also say that John Cena didn't see him the whole movie. I'm not
I
sure.
didn't even know he was in it. Couldn't even
Wasn't
tell.
sure.
That's kind of his thing, I think, though.
I mean, they said he was in the movie, but I did not see him in the entirety of that movie. But anyways, welcome to Line.
Line.
Oh, right. Don't look under the internet, people. Thank
Welcome,
you.
everybody.
Thank you for joining us. I'm joined here today with two of my fellow friends that you people probably don't know. Who are you, sir?
I'm Jason.
And who are you? Nope. What?
Nice to meet you, Doug.
It's nice to meet you as well for the first time in this room.
Uh-huh.
Sir?
I got lost on my way to the bank and I ended up here somehow.
This is going to be a great episode, I can already tell.
That was, what's your name today?
My name is Ted Korlanowski and I just want to cash my check. I got it from the Aldi from my shift late at night. I work in the warehouse.
Oh.
Do I make it out to Chase?
Actually,
Bank?
sir, you need to add a couple zeros and then make it out to Doug.
In front? You want me to give you a penny?
Nope. And
Zero?
back right here, sir, where I'm pointing.
I don't like this
No,
bank
get
anymore.
your cheaters. I know it's tough. They're on your head.
I don't have my left foot. The diabetes took it.
God.
Put your bifocals on, not your
My
bicuspids.
wife left me 50 years ago, and the dog left me too.
All right, I think we're just gonna have to fucking move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna be stuck in a loop.
His name was
Jason.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah. What's up?
my friend that I'm meeting for the first time today.
Yes, my very good friend that I've never met before today. What is happening, Doug?
What are we doing today?
Well, today.
We're talking about me getting lost in the bank.
Can we call security? Is this
Did we hire
warrant
some
security?
Because I know we had to hire some for that fucking rowdy ass audience we had.
I
we
used
still
to
have-
have a pet, and he was a cop.
We have the bear still, right?
Yeah, no, the audience bear to like keep them
You could
in line.
say
Well,
he's a pet cop.
that worked for a little bit after we sent the audience to the back rooms.
A Petscop. Petscop.
Oh yeah, is
I
that?
segued.
Hey, he finally nailed a bird scooter down.
I don't know if I would use the word nailed.
No, he lazily drifted around the center point of it for about 20 minutes.
You know what pet would make the best cop? A shark.
What?
No, it wouldn't.
It
Blood
doesn't
hungry.
have legs.
It can only patrol the waters.
They're already blood hungry, just like cops, and they shoot seals just like cops do.
Is that kind of like what they do on their Tuesdays? Like,
No, when they hunt.
are we recording this podcast instead of
Probably.
preventing cops from shooting baby
Guy-
seals?
Guys, one of our followers is calling me on Instagram right now.
Fuck it, answer it.
What? You can call people on Instagram?
Apparently.
Hold on.
Wait, what?
Here, do you want to
What?
plug it in?
Wait, on your personal Instagram?
I can't plug it in because I have a
Because you have an
fucking-
ass phone.
No.
What's happening?
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing?
We're actually currently recording an episode right now.
Oh my god, am I on TV?
You are on TV.
What do I do with my hands?
What's happening?
I don't know.
Who is this?
What do you do with your hands?
Guys?
Who
what do I
is
do with my
this?
hands?
What do you do with your hands?
You.
Yeah, what do I do with my hands? Why is
Well,
that
so
such a weird question? It's
here-
not weird.
No, here's what you do. You take saran wrap, and you're going to wrap them together just as tight as you can, and you're going to find 2 pieces of bread. And after you've found the
Who
bread...
is that?
I don't... There's a dog on the screen. I don't know. Doug didn't tell us who this is.
Who are you people?
This is Private Pin.
Oh, shit, okay.
Oh. Hello.
Say hey, Mike.
Hello.
Hi.
So Private Pen was a dog the whole time.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the Instagram.
Dreams do come true.
It's literally, you're literally watching a retired detective dog trying to figure out ways to get by with her free time.
Would you say that this dog is a pet?
No, this dog is a superhero. What are you talking about?
It's kind of a
Next
cop.
question.
Well, we were trying to segue that into our episode.
We were
which,
trying to set you up so good.
for all of our listeners, if you didn't realize, it's called Petscop.
Yep.
What is Pet Scout?
That's a great question, and
We're
we're
gonna
actually
do
about
this.
to get into it.
This is the perfect timing
Well,
for this
I'll let you
call.
go, and I'm going to listen in while you do all that stuff.
Can we just get a random fucking guest episode? Like,
Random guest plug. If
Perfect timing is what it is.
Go check
Alright.
out Private Pen on Instagram
Well,
and
here's the
follow
thing.
along her dog's fun things.
here's
to
the
do.
thing, Private Pen, is in order to be a guest on our show, you have to send us $3,000.
Oh shit, I just deposited $2,999.
Fuck!
So I'm gonna have to get back to you another time.
You can Cash App us at
$1.
Diluti.
Yeah, you can go. You can buy us a beer. You can go to Diluti, patreon.com/DilutiPod. Like whatever you want to do.
Shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Not at all. Well, shit.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya. Bye. Well, that was fucking unexpected.
I just saw my phone light up and I was like, she's a follower of ours. Let's do this.
That's weird.
That's
but
kind
cool.
of awesome. Yeah. So, well, everybody, go ahead and.
Before we get into Petscop, and I mean,
I was
speaking,
in the middle of a sentence. or
Okay, no,
anything.
go.
No, if you guys want to go ahead and check her out, go follow her, go say hi.
Cute puppy on
This
there.
is going to make the episode. I'm almost positive of, unless I can't.
Well, we
hear
are
that.
8 minutes in.
So it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Since we're talking about, nice, you guys were on a fucking thing there.
We're on beat.
Yeah. Since Private Pen, a listener, we have another listener we want to shout out.
We do. This is a perfect segue. Look at all these segues just falling into our
We
lap.
have a new patron,
Yes.
Paige.
Paige,
the
Paige.
patron.
God.
Nope. That
Thank
one
you,
didn't work.
Paige.
You know, Paige, I'm so sorry that you paid to hear that.
Paige, I
so
appreciate
sorry.
you because, you paid $5 because you either think one of three things. Either Jason's funny, Doug's funny, or Jason and Doug is funny. So, super appreciate that one. But no, for real, thank you, Paige. That's
Yeah,
really
thank
sweet
you
of
so
you, and
much.
we love you lots and lots. We love all of you patrons, but right now, Paige gets the spotlight because she's the newest.
Oh, absolutely. And Paige, if you're listening to this, which I really, really, really hope you are, we are about to launch a very, very, very new line of merch that we just got done looking over. It looks fucking fantastic, so please be on the lookout. We don't have the logistics nailed down yet, but very soon.
I have to assume that by the time this comes out, the store will be posted at least somewhere
And here's the-
into the universe.
And here's the thing, too, all of you listeners. Because we're new to the merch game.
Nope.
Okay, Doug's right.
I didn't think about it like
Because
that.
we're new to the merch game, I really wanted to keep things a high quality, keep everything high quality and keep
Yep.
the merchandise as pristine as we can. So if you get something, let us know how the quality is.
Mm-hmm.
It should be high quality, but if for whatever reason you get it and something's wrong, or
Yeah.
you wash it once and the fucking print comes off for whatever
Yep.
fucking reason.
Let us know. Give us
Let
some-
us know because we need to. Obviously, this is our first go with it, so
We
we're
have to
trying to
QC
see
it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to see, if this shop is the best way to go.
Yeah, we wanna
if
know
a
that-
different one is the best route. So we need your guys' help. If anyone gets the merch,
If whatever you
please let
guys
us
are
know.
getting from us that it is subpar in your mind, please reach out to us. We're very good when it comes to basically making things right that should be made right.
Yes.
We recently had somebody. Honestly, it wasn't even our fault. But
Their
we had
stickers
somebody.
got messed
yeah,
up,
their
and we
sticker
sent
got
them new
messed up,
ones.
and we sent
Ragdoll, I hope you got those already because
Yeah, well-
sorry it took a little longer. We had issues getting the stickers.
Yeah, the stickers took a while to come in. Honestly, if it's not there now, it should be there within the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
But we sent 2 replacements for a destroyed sticker. Now, I don't want everyone listening to think that it's okay to message us and saying "Oh, my sticker's destroyed. You should send me more." If you
We're on to you, fucks.
we saw the picture, we saw the whole story about it, and we genuinely felt bad that the one thing coming from us to her was absolutely destroyed. So please let us know how everything is. But most of all, Paige, thank you so much. I know it doesn't sound like you've joined the ranks of the elite.
I'm Christina Aguilera.
But you absolutely have joined the ranks of the elite, and we all want to say thank you so much. But
that being said,
we're going to talk about a weird video game named Petscop.
Yeah, we tried to give a segue to a follower of ours, but
my Petscop.
We passed as good as I can get. They dropped the ball. It's fine.
It's okay.
We'll move on.
They didn't know. It's fine.
Here's the dilly, everybody. Petscop is really, really cool, but sucks at the same time. We are going at this topic with broad strokes. Like, we are gonna leave out a lot of information because there's so fucking much to it.
I have a love-hate relationship with this already. So this is actually something that I want to say early quarantine, like everything else that this podcast fucking spawned.
It's based off of.
Basically, me and Jason had looked into this for a little bit, very briefly. I think we talked about it in passing, but now that we've like kind of deep dive it, and the fact that I really want to kill myself after this, it's just
it's very
so
meticulous.
Much.
Yes, there's a lot of like
but it's almost nothing
details.
At the same time.
It's one of those things where they give you the most information possible, but they don't give you any explanations about it. It's like if an ARG was like, here is it's like if someone gave you a dictionary and was like, my story's in this somewhere.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I know that's probably not the best way to describe what's going on, but I mean, yeah, he definitely gives you a lot of info, but
it's a good way to describe what is not going on.
Yeah. Well, here's a great way to describe how this needs to happen for our listeners. So, kind of in the sense of Kep their E, fucking post content, this is a topic that you really need to honestly pause this podcast and go watch all of the videos on Petscop first.
It is like a video game Let's Play, which is hard for people to talk about on an audio program when there's a lot of visuals going on.
The caveat is that there's an element to it that absolutely warrants our discussion. It's like somewhat like the background goings on.
It reminds me of Ben Drowned.
Yes. Oh my God.
Except okay, so
and that episode did very well. So
looking at
super
meta.
Petscop. No, we're gonna jump into Petscop. We're gonna load up Petscop.
Give us your cummies, Petscop.
I don't want any of those.
Can you do the thing? Can you do the thing?
The thing.
The thing.
I don't know what that means.
Pull up the outline so I can see if we're gonna let the viewers know how things go here.
All right, I gotta find it. Hold on.
Awesome. Well,
welcome to the most meta episode of.
No, you want meta. Talk about meta. Petscop itself is meta. It is a creepypasta, so it's hard to say if this is real or fake. But if it is fake, it is a fake game being played on a fake Let's Play by a fake person on
with
YouTube.
Fake followers and fake friends
on YouTube.
Yep.
All right. Well, now that you've learned that, you don't have to listen anymore.
Yeah. Right. No, I said it might be fake. Who knows? Anyway, so Petscop. What is it? You heard of it? Probably not.
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
So if you go on YouTube, you'll find a channel called Petscop. Essentially, on this channel, you see a man who is assumed his name is Paul because that's what he calls his save file.
Yep.
He plays a video game it's a PlayStation 1 game that he found with a little note on it. We'll get into the note a little later.
Yeah, the note's not important right now.
Yes.
The most important thing is that this game is supposedly created but not distributed. Which means
it's a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, he's got the only copy
of it. Yeah, he's got the only copy of it. It was in development. They stopped developing it. They never released it. For some reason, Paul has a fucking copy of it.
Yep, and it's an old PlayStation 1 game. It looks... Picture in your mind what a PlayStation 1 game looks like. There you fucking go. It looks like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like absolutely to a T.
Yeah.
You like polygons?
There's your
got
polygons.
tons of them.
You play as a thing.
A frog person.
It's got like a moldy butt for a head.
It almost reminds me. It reminds me of Raymond from the old Raymond.
Yeah, a little
Rayman
bit.
Legends.
Except its head is green and butt shaped.
Yeah.
Well, like the head kind of just like
It's
sits
like-
on the body.
It's
a
like
little
if Assy McGee was green.
It's got that little indent, like in the top and the back of its head, that makes it look like the start of a butt crack. So I get what you're saying.
And
you know-
its
you know
face
what a-
looks like a beak.
You know what a butt chin is? Well, this is on his forehead.
Yeah.
Yes, very great.
The picture will go up.
If you're looking for details, you're probably not going to find all of them on this episode.
You'll find some, but the reason we're doing it that way is because this whole thing is just so fucking open-ended to where, like, you can interpret almost whatever you want. You just have to really, really, really look at the nitty-gritty details
Yes.
of every fucking frame of every episode.
Yep.
And we're not fucking doing that.
Yep, but I will tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you how you play Petscop.
I would love to hear how to play.
Petscop essentially runs like a Pokemon, kind of. You control this.
Okay.
You control this butt face guy. You run around places. You click on people to talk to them. You click on notes and signs to read them. And there are these things called pets. And you catch the pets, kind of similar to Pokemon, except you don't fight them most of the times.
You don't fuck 'em either.
Yeah, you don't fuck them. I'd be seeing the way Ditto be looking at me. and I
Oh,
don't
Ditto's
like
the
that.
fuck king. Are you kidding me?
Fuck king.
He can turn into whatever he wants. Like, it's like that episode
Like
of
my
Rick and
wife-
Morty where the bartender lady can shapeshift and Jeff loses his... Or no, that's American Dad. Never mind.
Yep, there you
he
go.
loses his penis and was about to lose his penis, and she's like, I can turn into your wife.
Great,
Same shit.
Great. But yeah, you more or less solve riddles to catch these pets, or you do tasks.
Yeah,
Like there's
think
one.
a Zelda dungeon, but with Pokemon. in
Yeah,
it.
there's one, for example, that's a cloud. And it's not like you go and beat the fuck out of this cloud. You like get a bucket and you catch its raindrops, and then you catch the pet from that.
Yep.
So there's like little things you have to do to catch them.
It's little like...
The best part about all of this is that the things that we're talking about right now don't fucking matter.
Yeah, none of this
So
matters, guys.
all of this whole part of the game, which at first you think is the whole game, it's just some cheery, fun game, takes place on this place called the Gift Plane.
Yep.
Which is this bright white, pink, colorful kind of
Happy music.
Yeah, this nice, fun-looking place.
Think,
And-
if you've ever played the game Bubsy, which was, I think, for the original PlayStation, it's similar
kind of-
music,
yeah,
similar
yeah.
gameplay, except it's instead of like a 2D platformer, it's a fucking, it's a 3D
Yeah,
not platformer.
Think Wensleydale.
yeah.
Oh,
but
God.
We
fucking Diablo.
we soon find out that this Gift Plane is not the only thing going on in this game.
Yes. So at the time of, I guess, recording this Let's Play for whoever is deciding to watch this, it was clarified pretty fucking decently that this game's not finished. And he even
Yeah.
like,
Episode 1.
yeah, so he literally
States immediately this game sucks.
he walks to the edge of the map and he's like, guys, just like, or not guys. So he's talking to a specific person,
Yeah.
and he says like, hey, this game's not finished. So, and he shows you the edge of the map, and he shows you the one place you can go.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like glitches and things that happen.
So you might be asking yourself, why the fuck are these three assholes talking about a game that's not done yet? Well, yes, the game might not be complete, but it has more content than most games I've played.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you watch his videos, kind of how we mentioned, he's talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who that someone is, but it's very like he keeps kind of reiterating, "Hey, this is like I want you to see this because this is
Yeah.
what I was talking about."
Yeah, for the
Next
longest-
time
These
you
are the
come
things that I'm
down,
seeing.
like, yeah.
Yeah, for the longest time, and I don't want to sound like a dummy, but I had to second guess myself. Like, is someone else in this room,
So-
or is he trying very hard to make it feel like I'm there with him?
For the first 4 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
He absolutely does all of those things. And like one of the things that drew me to this, and one of the reasons I like this so much, is because as time goes on, not only does like the viewer's experience change, but the person showing us everything, their experience changes as well. And it's I
their
know
whole-
I'm alluding to a lot of very vague things right now, which is a very, very good way to introduce this topic and the premise of it. So, without further ado, let's fucking dump into the premise of Petscop.
I think I already did.
You did.
A little bit. Well, the innocent side, I guess.
Correct. You scratched the surface, as
Yeah.
you said so eloquently before, but
The clitoris.
you dibbled the clitoris. No, so this premise is, like, as we've already said, it's about catching pets and finding
Is that?
them.
I'm sorry. Is that a Batman villain, the Dibbler?
No, I got a B in sex ed, so I'm pretty sure it's the clitoris, right?
Batman. I'll let you go if you can dibble this clitoris.
God fucking damn it.
He's got like a staff that's got like a fucking vulva on it.
Just like a little dot, a red dot at the top, just like... No.
It's not a myth.
So speaking of the clitoris... No, so the premise of this game is basically, like we've already said, catch pets, find them. Basically, you want to find them. There's a bunch of notes saying, like, you know, you won't love the one that you find at first, but, like, give them some time. It was like...
it says stuff.
You don't
It's
have to
like,
love it, but you can like it, and you'll learn to love it.
Yeah, and it's full of these little, like, inspirational, cute, adorable notes that
it even
seems
says,
to go along with the game.
It even
Which-
says at one point, like, oh, the pets are scared. They might
Yeah.
try to run away from you, but they do want a home. They want to be loved. They're just scared is all.
Show them that there's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah.
To preface this also, there's a part where, like, right in the beginning, he reads a sign that says, "Hey, everyone in the gift plane left," like, and we couldn't
Yep.
take everyone with us, so that's kind of why you're collecting the pets.
They say there was
Yeah.
like 100 pets in the gift plane, and now there's only like 48 or something like that left,
Yeah,
and you have to collect
yeah.
the others
It's-
and bring them back.
It's a very loose setup, but as we've already said, none of this fucking part of the game matters at all, aside from maybe the pets portion of it.
Kind of matters.
It's it's minimal, but
Yeah.
yes, it plays a part, but it's not anything close to the rest of this game.
So-
So I say the rest
I
of
was gonna
this
say,
game-
how do we find the rest of this game?
Yes, exactly. So again, like we said, the premise is to catch these pets. However, there is a much darker, sinister side to this game.
It's
And
more
now-
than filling your Pokedex.
Yes, exactly. We did mention that, you know, this game had been found by somebody, and with it came a note. Now, on this note
Send
were some
nudes.
instructions. Yep, just said send nudes.
Send nudes, LOL.
And that's Petscop, everybody.
Nensudes.
We did it, guys.
Yeah, we fucking did it.
Episode 469.
Are you proud of me, Mama?
But no, so this note came along with the game, and I feel like somebody other than me might be better at talking about this.
So these secret instructions that we're talking about are really not secret instructions at all.
No, they're given right to you.
Well, they're given right to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that isn't really kind of talked about yet, but is kind of talked about, is that this game is actually not just... He didn't just happenstance upon this game.
No.
It's been passed down from his family.
Generations and generations.
His mom had it.
Yep.
Correct. And he got this game with a note attached to it from said family member. And this actually is what had the instructions on it. So
Didn't it say something else? Like, I made this for you? Yeah, I thought, like, the note, it had the secret instructions on it, but it also prefaced it with something just saying, I made this for you. And considering our character is...
Paul Wall, the
Paul-
people's champ.
Paul the Wall.
What did it do? It's Paul Wall. I'm the people's champ.
No, he's talking to somebody as he's making these videos, so he kind of assumes that it's not made for him, and he makes a comment saying whoever he's talking to, that of course it would be linked to him via this person. So I'm pretty sure it was made for maybe not him,
Great
but like his
detective work,
friend.
Sherlock.
I try.
You really figured that one fucking out, didn't you?
yeah,
Maybe.
And basically, without explaining what the whole note says, it basically gave the correct commands to unlock this secret part of the game.
Yeah,
I
it was
I
like-
would call it the secret game more so than like the secret
It's like
instructions.
the Konami code of Petscop.
Yeah,
Pre-
exactly.
pretty much,
No,
yeah.
it's exactly what it is.
So he ends up reading this note, putting in the correct codes, and then something entirely different starts to happen, and it actually takes a little while for this to kind of go into effect. So he puts the code in, and then he goes back through the gift plane, but in one of the doors that he would have normally gone through to get to the beginning of the gift plane, he enters a new plane. And this new plane is called the New Maker plane.
A New Maker plane.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm Walter Newmaker. Welcome to my house.
Stop, just stop.
This is my plane. It's
It's a Boeing 477
it's got a
or
propeller
747.
on the top of it. So I
That's a
guess it's more of a
helicopter, sir.
helicopter, but I like to call it a plane.
Aren't helicopters just like
They're the planes of the ocean.
horizontal planes or vertical planes?
So you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
here,
we're on
then.
the same page. You
Yeah.
just have a different accent.
Anyway, you want to come to my fuck shack later?
Who is this? Who let him in here?
Walter
All right, so wait.
Newmaker.
If the B-52s remixed Love Shack, it would definitely be called
Fuck shack,
The fuck
baby.
shack.
Fuck Shack, baby, fuck Shack.
It's
All
a
right.
little old place where we can get together
And fuck.
and fuck.
Anyway, New Maker plane. Spooky place, right?
So I really want to just stress this to you guys because you cannot see. So I'm going to assume
What?
you guys are blind. You guys can't see this, obviously. We're not showing you video snippets. We're not doing any of that shit because fuck you, number one. But B, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at here, I want you to think open world game,
Okay.
very, very expansive, lots of places to go. But in this version, there's really not many places to go, and then it's actually taking place in real world time, which is actually very, very different for a PlayStation game because they
Metal
didn't have
Gear.
that shit.
They don't have, internet capabilities.
Metal Gear
Yeah.
definitely did real time shit. It was rare. You didn't see it too often.
No.
For
Yes.
sure.
And so, like, when you're looking at this game, like, if you can imagine this, think Spyro. You're walking around a level collecting little bits all over the place. That's exactly what's happening in this game. Even when he goes into the New Maker.
Oh
plane.
yeah, and at first he has no fucking he just collects them off of, I'm guessing, like instinct, right? Because you're playing a video game. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's some shit floating around.
Yeah, like
It's probably coins or money or some shit.
And
Yeah.
to preface to you people as well, the New Maker plane looks a lot different from the gift
Oh,
plane.
yeah.
Instead
Yes.
of it being like all white, pink, and colorful like the gift plane, it's dark, grungy.
Think the original Slenderman game
Yeah.
on Unity. Like,
It's like
it
in
looks like that.
It's like in Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds when you turn into like the Link that can like suck through a crack. You're in like High Rule, and then you go through the crack, and you're in Dark Rule. It's kind of like Dark Rule.
Okay.
Or Low Rule. Sorry, Low Rule.
well,
Yeah,
it looks
get
like you
your
guys
fucking-
got this topic covered.
Yeah, bye, Doug. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Doug. Continue. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. But yeah, no, you go from this very, very white, fluffy looking, first part of the game to a very dark, grassy,
Which-
muddy kind of plane.
Honestly, fits what your character looks like better.
Oh, absolutely. You
Because he
definitely-
looks like
pussy
an
butthole.
ogre's ass. So
Well, I feel like we have both
Yes.
different theories on what this looks like.
yeah, imagine if a troll was in heaven and they didn't belong, and now the troll is in hell where he should be because he fits the aesthetic of this
yeah,
new
yeah,
plane.
yeah. Okay, it took me a second to get there, but I'm with you. Yeah,
We got there slowly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
But yeah, so there's a lot that goes on with the New Maker plane, and I'm just going to scave the surface, I'm pretty sure, with the amount of information I'm about to
Yeah,
dump
please-
into your brain holes.
Just give us the important shit because you could go on for years.
So, okay, so like I said, we are not going to go over everything. So some of the things I may be talking about right now might not make sense yet. Like we
Yeah.
said, watch the fucking videos and things will make more sense than they do now.
We are going to try our damnedest to put this into a format that anyone who has not watched the videos can kind of comprehend, but the one thing that all three of us have learned is that you won't understand a fucking thing unless you've actually seen these videos. So please go fucking watch these videos, support them. The more viewers that you see, the more content like this that you will get out of whoever's responsible. Because honestly, this is one of those that we don't fucking know. Like this is why we like doing this kind of stuff, because we don't know who's in charge of this. We don't know what the fuck is going on with this.
Yeah, and just to put this out into the universe, the last update was on Halloween last year.
Last year.
So we can only assume if this is going to go anywhere, we might see an update this Halloween.
2 months-ish.
Yeah. So
I actually have a theory about that as well that we'll get into later.
yeah, we don't know anything for certain, but either way, let's get into the new maker plan. So let's go over the term new maker. This word reoccurs throughout the videos. You'll see it when Paul asks Red Tool, which if you watch the videos, you'll understand what I'm fucking talking about.
Red Tool, we can break that down a little.
Yeah, that one's actually
Tool
pretty
is
important.
literally just
Yes.
a giant, it's kind of like a giant statue
It
that,
looks like a butt plug if the butt plug had a funnel on its
yeah,
head.
you ask it questions, it gives you answers to certain questions.
It's
Yeah.
the Navi of
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't follow you and yell at you. It just
Yeah,
stays
correct.
in one room.
But so there's a point where Paul asks Red Tool, "Who am I?" Because there's actually a point where you get to see this, like, I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a snowman with a triangle on its head, basically.
It looks like part of a fucking, like, some anal beads with a funnel on its head. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
But the main character, he can ask it questions. So he asks it, "Who am I?" And he replies, "The new maker." Red Tool answers a question, "Where am I?" And he says, "Under the new maker plan." This is when we kind of start learning like where we're at in this world. The new maker plan is actually referenced in a note in Care's room, which we haven't brought up yet, but we will. And then Rainer signs himself as the new maker, which is also something we will go over.
Yeah, so just to give you guys, like, kind of a heads up, it takes a couple of videos to get to it, but Paul, the person who's playing, does find out that his character is named a new maker. And you find out kind of through the course of it, there are multiple new makers, and it brings more meaning as this whole thing goes on.
You're one of many, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. You follow a lineage of people who have been trying to do whatever the fuck is happening right
generational
now.
thing.
Yes, you do
could
follow
say.
a generational thing. Yes, that's
Yeah.
a perfect word for it.
So the capitalization of new maker implies that it's a proper noun.
Capitalization.
Yeah, that word. It's a big one, I know. We're getting spicy here.
I'm getting spicy.
So this could mean that it's referring to a name, a title, or a place. In Petscop Video 9, there's a note in Lena's room signed Rainer Newmaker with a comma, which means that he's maybe calling himself a new maker, which may not be, obviously a name, but a title.
Michael, comma, long, micro penis.
Oh,
But this
Okay.
could also be a reference to Candace Newmaker, although it's still not really clear whether the game is referencing Candace or anyone in that family directly.
Yeah.
But rather using her story as a analogy for this whole thing. We don't know. We may never know. But moving on.
hopefully we will.
So this secret portion of the game could be developed specifically for new makers, whether the new maker is meant to refer to any player
Yeah.
or a specific one person.
Like, this is supposed to be like their sandbox, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, early on we really don't know like what the reference is or like where it's going. So it's basically there's so much to this fucking game. It's driving me fucking
You can
nuts.
get lost. We have to just stick to like this.
We just bear with
This
us,
is
people.
why we're going over brief things, because it's intense.
I
It's
just
a
want to say
lot
this
of
isn't
detail.
an analysis video. This is us just kind of talking about what this is.
Yeah, this is more of a discussion. Like, the three of us separately looked at all of this, and because of I know this is tough. You guys are going to understand why we did it like this when we get to the end of this, but we looked at all of this separately. We wanted to develop our own conclusions towards it, mainly because that's how the Reddit took the approach.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to kind of replicate that, because if Reddit can't find a fucking concrete answer in fucking 2 years or 3 years at this point.
Well, and the biggest thing is that the content for this has been coming out over so long, like
Yep.
a long period of time, that it's been hard for people to actually come up with these theories and conclusions when we don't have all of the information.
To give you an idea, the first post about any of this was made in 2017.
And the newest video was last year,
Yep.
like around April of 2020.
And there are 24 videos.
Yeah, so there's really not a whole lot to go off
It's
of.
very slow building, and there's like, it's... Oh,
Definitely one of the slower things we've done as a topic, I would say.
But I will say, once we get into the actual meat of it, one of the more creepy topics we've done.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
So this location, where the entirety of the secret game takes place, it appears to be a flat, dark, mostly empty plain of grass. You'll see this in the videos when you watch it.
And a windmill.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a couple connections that we can make right away, just not knowing. Yeah, there's a windmill. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I can't. Just the innocence of that. And a windmill.
Though.
I don't want to sidetrack again because we do it way too much, but I have a weird fascination with windmills.
Oh, I have a place for you, buddy.
Dude, like when we start driving down into like the southern parts of Illinois and everything, Lori will catch me. She's like, yeah, like she the last time we went to Florida, she's like, dude, you were staring out the window for like half an hour just looking at windmills. I'm like, they're fucking cool. They're so cool and they're so big. I wanted to be a tech on one because I'm like perfect size.
Oh, same.
For it,
but then I read that you couldn't, like, you had to be okay with spiders.
Yeah,
I was like,
not only that, but if something happens, you get stuck up there. You can't get down. You die.
Peace out.
If there's a fire, you're trapped. You're dead.
Why don't they just give people fucking parachutes?
Yeah. Thank you.
Damn, that's not a bad idea.
It's not.
Windmill people. Fucking.
Dude, if you jumped off of that with a fucking big umbrella, you'd probably live.
I'm Mary Poppins, yo.
People have fallen out of planes and held their fucking suit coats open and have lived. Like, if you have an umbrella up there, just fucking do that.
Yeah, continue. We can't go down.
Yeah, we're getting way off topic here.
There's a fucking windmill. Go.
Where the fuck am I? Okay.
Windmill, New Maker plane.
Yeah, new makers, planes,
Trains, automobiles.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the references that I was saying about the new maker plane is that what we could call the gift plane is a representation of heaven. Mm-hmm. We could think of the new maker plane as basically like purgatory.
That's yes.
The new maker plane is just empty space. Like there's a lot of empty space, so it just kind of makes sense to be that in this little metaphor, you know.
Yep.
And then the name new maker plane could imply that the new maker controls or created this plane in some other way that we don't know yet, I guess. Mm-hmm. But since Rainer signs one of his endgame notes as Rainer Newmaker, it could also mean that Rainer considers himself associated with this plane specifically. If we wanted to go into that kind of depth.
No, that makes sense. And I wish I could say why.
Yeah, you never...
Yep. And wait.
I know we're chucking weird names at you like Karen Rainer.
We're about to get into the names.
Yeah, you don't find out who they are until later on. You just see random notes from these people.
And honestly, you can never confirm any of them.
But Jason is gonna...
Yeah, I've got a bunch of info.
There's literally going to be so many... There's going to be so much skipping around from videos to videos because we literally have to go from like... Episode 7 to like
22 to 1
to
like
13. Like it's all over the place because you pick up on these things very out of order, to put it bluntly, which I'm going to do right now actually.
Hooray!
So in Petscop 22, which is 2 episodes before the very last episode that we have out, Paul and his friend discuss correlating locations in the new maker with real world landmarks. Yeah.
Like a windmill.
Basically, a similar idea suggested to Marvin by Rainer in Petscop 20 that suggests that the unusual scale of the new maker plane is the result of staying true to real life distances. So you'll actually see him running around for just like hours at one point. Like he'll be like, yeah, this was like 2 hours and 39 minutes later. I finally found something.
That's actually exactly the number.
Yeah, no, I know. So it's like really kind of bizarre for this kind of game on a PlayStation at this time, especially because it's like way after like PlayStation 2 and shit have been out, but he's playing it on PlayStation 1. Anyways, so in Petscop 23, we actually get a weird colored sky that turns like this weird blue color after the machine is used, which you guys will find out about as well. The new maker plane is just absolutely batshit crazy.
It's insane.
Because I'm literally about to be like, okay, now here's an episode 2, which is going to just make everything kind of tie together.
Yeah, honestly, this may turn into a 2-parter just because I think right now we are understanding the scope of it all.
This might also be, obvious, but when he says, like, Petscop 22 or Petscop 23 means like
That's
the
the
22nd upload, the 23rd upload.
yeah.
That's what they're
Yeah.
labeled on YouTube. Just
We're used to
FYI.
that just because we've been fucking looking at this for hours and hours and hours, but you guys might not. So yeah, if you hear like Petscop 2, Petscop 4, like that's just the number video, and they're all labeled as such
Yes.
on the YouTube channel, so you can go check it out.
Yeah, and to put in perspective, when this first came out, the first 4 videos were uploaded at the same time, so you got videos 1 through 4 right away. And one of the things that the New Maker plane appears in is actually hidden in a loading screen image in Petscop 2. And then a screenshot of the New Maker plane was actually the YouTube video's like banner.
Yep.
But you couldn't tell unless you actually like inspected the source and saw the image and then uploaded the image
You
into a
see
new...
a lot of that. A lot of up
Well-
the brightness, up the fucking...
Well, you don't even have to do that. Literally, it's all black, and the very like last bottom bit is just like a little bit of grass.
Yep.
And you could see that from just the regular image, but you would have never known that because the banner's just a black strip.
Yep.
But that is kind of where we'll leave the New Maker plane be for now.
We have to, unfortunately.
Woof.
But there's a lot of people in it.
We've said a bunch of names up
so
until now.
Jason, can you elaborate a little bit on who these names of these peoples are?
I can, and I'm sorry that we haven't before this, but honestly, it
Makes sense to do it now.
It does. It really does, and you guys will see why in just a second. So, the characters in this game are very fucking important. They're symbolic. Almost all of them are metaphorical. But the big ones that you're going to see are the names Marvin, Lena or Anna, Belle or Tool, Rainer, and Michael.
Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Hello.
You were supposed to die in 1995, but that's fine.
Beans.
But no, so let's go with the first one, right? Marvin.
Yes.
This is probably the biggest name that you're going to see. He is synonymous with antagonist.
He's essentially
for this
the
story.
villain.
Yes, so he's shrouded in shadow, fucking very literally.
Yeah, they call him the Shadow Monster
The Shadow
Man.
Man. Yeah, he's the Shadow Monster Man. So the first time you see him, he is in shadow form. And at the beginning of this game, we talked about secret codes. And there was like a code you could put in to get to a certain place. Well, it was with a description. A, it said for you, for whoever's playing. And B, it said, after I got to the stairs, I went, down, 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 and right. And I turned into a shadow monster.
Well, no, that's
man.
that's the code to go into the...
Right, so he went...
What he was talking about,
he went down the
instead
stairs,
of going down the stairs
and to the right.
Yeah.
And he turned into a shadow monster man.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just trying to link the code to the thing for because not
God, you're
everyone
so
knows
smart.
that. I know. So this code happens, and after a couple of different videos, Paul tries this, and he turns into a shadow monster man. Now, let's fast forward a whole fucking bunch because the series is all sorts of out of order.
Let's also, before we fast forward, mention real quick, you see a windmill early on in the game, but Paul doesn't have access to it.
Oh,
he
yeah,
discovers when you become the Shadow Monster Man, you have access to other things.
Is this a good time to reference the windmill?
I'm just mentioning that.
No, it's a good segue.
Maybe, yeah,
absolutely.
When you become the Shadow Monster Man, you realize you have access to places you didn't before.
Right, and the windmill is one of these things. And now different places across the New Maker plane are very important because, as Doug said, this is a very, very, very expansive plane with almost fucking nothing in it. The things you do find are incredibly important. And like Mike said, the windmill is one of those things. That being said, let's get into who Marvin is. You guys are familiar with Marvin? You guys watch the series, right?
Yes, he's a
Never heard of him.
stabby boy.
Was he like a comforting character, or was he more of a cause of stress and distress?
I would say the fact that he both probably murdered and abducted children, I would say he is a cause of stress.
See, what? Nobody knows that right now.
That is a
Do now.
Yeah,
jump
so
into the story.
that's fine. Let's fucking roll with it.
So far, you've come across him as a shadow man, and he's
Yes.
been more of, I would say, an annoyance than anything. He follows you around.
Yeah, you've
talks to you in some weird code.
You've heard his name before.
Yeah.
So in one of the episodes, Paul goes and he finds this room that has this big red butt plug looking thing that they call a tool. And like, I'm sorry, but that's what it fucking looks like. And he talks about conversing with it, and it's red. Every once in a while it turns pink. When it turns pink, I need you guys to take this with a grain of salt, because none of this has any fucking factual data behind it. But when it turns pink, that means he is conversing with somebody on the other end of this, I don't know, conversation medium, I guess. Like, somebody is actually responding to him.
You're also going to see this color change theory happen a couple different times with a couple different things.
Oh, yeah. Colors are super important to this whole series.
You'll see a color change during a flower picking scene.
I will get into that.
You're going to see it during a treadmill scene. You're going to see a lot of different colors.
When you guys are watching this, take note of the colors. Take note of especially the text colors, because that basically denotes who is saying it. And if you can manage to put that together in your brain while watching this, the whole story is going to be absolutely insane. So, Marvin. His name is mentioned over and over again, especially by Paul, who, when we first hear the name, we're not really sure where it comes from. Like, it's kind of out of the blue. The game gives you several different ways to find out about Marvin, to find out about the different names.
Yeah, we see letters with his name on it.
Exactly.
Things of that such manner.
There's a bunch of different things. There's gravestones, there's signs. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to find out the different names in this game. But Marvin is a fucking anomaly. Like, you can't really pinpoint who he is. Like, you hear his name a whole bunch. You hear his name in conjunction with Newmaker, with Petscop, with fucking everything. But you're like, who the fuck is this guy? So to jump ahead and not give you the 2-hour version of this, Marvin is first displayed as a shadow person, which the player Paul has done in one of his videos. He found out how to do it. But the first time you see it, it's definitely not the same character.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's very similar. It's a silhouette, except the face and head are fucked up. Super fucked up.
Keep in mind, a lot of this is happening in periods of time where the player is just recording him not playing.
Yeah, there's a literal 2-hour and 39-minute expanse where the player, Paul, as far as we know, probably isn't even at the fucking PlayStation, but he picks up on Marvin, the shadow person, in front of the windmill, doing some weird shit. Like, he picks up on all these things. And one of the things that I'd like to point out here is that this is the first time that anyone is going to get any kind of semblance that this might be a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I'm not sure if you were going to go over or not, and that I'd like to just touch on, is there's a really important part where we see Marvin actually speaking to Paul.
Oh.
And during this time, it's actually while Paul isn't at the game. Mm-hmm. And he's just recording.
Oh, it's so good.
And he starts to spell out a bunch of things. Do you want to go over that?
No, you're already there, man. Please. I did have a part to do this, but I'm more than happy.
So, when you're kind of going through the story, you'll get a glimpse into this. But basically, there's a point where Paul is recording him just standing in one spot. Mm-hmm. And then we actually see Marvin as this shadow person spelling out a bunch of different things in the blocks. And one of the craziest parts is where he goes, "Where is the school?
Where is the school?" Yep. And so to give you guys an idea, this is not like player-to-player interaction. This is literally the main character, Paul, watching this happen, almost like it was pre-recorded, right?
Well, yeah, so like he recorded him just sitting in this one spot in the Newmaker plane, mm-hmm. and during him not being at the PlayStation, this happened.
This all happened, and it shows like fucking Ronith's there, one of the pets. Mm-hmm. So again, we're gonna go over some of the pets in a bit more detail later, but one of these pets is sitting there while Marvin is spelling out these words using, I'm guessing, like a texture editor tool or something.
And they kind of look like building blocks.
Yeah, like the toy blocks you had as a kid, like the wood carved blocks that are painted and shit. Like, yeah, he spells out a bunch of stuff, but the final message is, where's the school? and it leaves you with a very, very, very large sense of uneasiness and dread.
Because now I have to go to school in the new maker.
I know. Why would you
plane.
want to do that?
I guess it is supposed to be, purgatory.
Yep, you're just fucking sitting there.
Yeah.
But so you see all this happen, and like this is one of the first instances of Marvin that you see, and you kind of recognize his avatar, which is at this point a silhouette that looks just like the player character, but a little bit fucked up, almost like his head has been wrapped in bandages or something like that. And you see him more and more throughout the series. You eventually do see him unsilhouetted, and it turns out he is the player character, but instead of the normal head, it's like this head wrapped in these green bandages.
I think they reference it as like a gemstone.
Yeah. It's there's yes. You can't. Oh, that's a whole. I could spend 15 minutes on that, but I'm not going to. So you see this character Marvin. Now Marvin is one of the biggest driving forces in this story. He is the reason that Paul does pretty much everything that he does. Paul learns that this character Marvin is actually watching him and is following him through this game. Now again, this is PlayStation 1. How the fuck does that happen? There's no internet. There's no, you can't connect to fucking PS1 online or some shit. Like
that sweet 1 kilobyte speed internet. That's all you need.
You can download 1 pixel a second. It's
all you
fine.
need.
But no, you start to see Marvin more and more as once he introduces himself, you see more of him. And to me, that shares a lot of qualities with a very, very, very popular internet phenomenon known as Slender Man.
Swole Slenderman.
The more you know about him, the more dangerous he becomes, and it's kind of the same trope that Marvin takes here. And so I don't want to dwell too long on Marvin, unfortunately, because there's so much to be said about him. Like, he's, as far as we know, he's the main antagonist. And now when you first meet him in the game, it does not seem like that. It seems like he's helpful. It seems like he's
he's like teaching you like music and things
he
too.
He teaches you how to use the game. So you're like, okay, this is like, I'm gonna keep following this person. I'm gonna keep following this person. And then you talk to the tool, the red tool at first that turns into the pink tool. So the red tool has the ability to operate basic questions. So basically, there's a text box that pops up, and it asks like, oh, what's your question?
I briefly touched on this in the new maker plan.
Right. I'm just re-referencing it. So, you ask these questions. However, if it turns pink, personally, I think that means that there is somebody on the other end of this two-way radio system that is called Tool.
You're no longer talking to Siri or talking to someone else on the phone.
Right. You are not talking to Siri. You are talking to Carl. I don't know who Carl is, but he has about 10 cockroaches in bottles under his bed, and he fucks those bottles every night, and he wants to talk to you for some reason. Does that sound like someone you want to talk to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's just keep talking about it. But basically, that's Marvin. That's what Marvin is. He is trying to find attention. He wants you to know that he exists because he's about to influence your whole play style, your whole takeaway from the whole game. And you don't even fucking know it yet. So just think of Marvin as this mysterious character that you need to learn more about.
He's currently the anti-hero of the game that
Yes.
you don't know much about.
He's an anti-hero, but he's also, he's helpful. Which is the fucking... That's the part that throws me off the most.
He's a stabber.
Yeah, he's fucking double agent is what he is.
He's that guy in the movie where he's very helpful and he seems really nice and you don't suspect him of anything.
And then you suspect him of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he is. So as you watch these videos, you're going to find out that Marvin is more and more sinister. So, sorry about the spoiler. It's not much of a spoiler.
He stabbed.
It's very, very obvious.
He stabbed a lady.
Hey, yeah. So Mike has some thoughts on this, but before we go into our thoughts, let's go into another very important character. And I'm so happy you said windmill because let's talk about the character Lena.
In the windmill.
So, like I said before, there's a bunch of characters. I'm only going to touch on the most important ones that you guys need to know to get into this because I desperately want you guys to go watch this. All 24 episodes. It does not take a lot of time, but holy fuck is it creepy, and holy fuck does it make you feel unsettled.
The nice thing is we're going to talk about kind of two characters right now.
Yes, we are. which is also one character.
Yeah. Two but one. Well,
So Lena. Lena's mentioned a whole bunch in Petscop, and there's a whole bunch of speculation.
Santa Maria.
God damn it. Is this back to the fucking Bermuda Triangle episode?
Yes, she's mentioned a lot. Sorry.
Yes. So she's mentioned a whole bunch. And the first time that she is, I don't want to say mentioned, because she's mentioned a couple of times, but actually, like, when you dig into who Lena is, you get a pretty decently long note, and I kind of want to read that out.
Go ahead.
So here's what the note says. You must have guessed, but I was looking through your things. I found that picture of you from 1977, standing in front of an old windmill with your friend. You went there, and it was a bad idea. Your friend and the windmill both disappeared into thin air. Her sister was holding the camera. She took another picture minutes later. Just you, no windmill, and no friend. You married her sister, and years later, your friend was reborn as your daughter. Your wife won't admit this is true, but I know it, because I found the evidence. Your friend never returned with you, and the windmill was gone. I went to see it myself. Where is it? What did you do? Signed, Rainer, Newmaker. So, that's kind of the story that Lena has told in this whole narrative. Like, you can read this text in the game, and Paul does read this text in the game, and it starts to confuse him a bit more. But Lena is one of the victim and very main character, because she might portray two people. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but you guys should go watch Petscop, the whole fucking thing front to back, because you will see exactly what I am talking about. Multiple people in this narrative are different people also. There's a whole bunch of time jumping. There's a whole bunch of chronological inconsistencies at this point that, honestly, if I got into that right now, what time is it right now? 11:20? Yeah, we'd be here till like 5 or 6 a.m. Like, there's so much, and that's kind of the point of all of this.
Give it like a TLDR.
Yeah, I'll give you a TLDR.
Off of that note. Oh no, I can just give one off of that note.
If you want to, please. But yeah,
Marvin goes to a windmill with two women and comes back with only one. So you can kind of assume.
But Marvin also doesn't come back.
Yeah, but it kind of sets up that Marvin did something
correct,
sinister.
So out of everything that you see, you've kind of been noticing a theme here, and that is that Marvin has been the cause of a lot of bad shit, and this being a big one.
Marvin stabbed a woman. Marvin's a stabber.
I wonder what Mike thinks.
Marvin stabbed Lena, marries Anna. Boom, nailed it.
So this is a huge part of this story, because they dedicate, 2 hours and 39 minutes
Too much time
watching the windmill. And at the end of that mark, you see it start to spin backwards. You see Marvin as the scary shadow man.
Yep.
That's when he starts putting the blocks down and...
Yep, he starts spelling shit out. But you see him basically walk into this windmill and then come up to the camera and like fuck around with it a bunch, and then nothing. Now, the next time you see that windmill, because after that point in game, you can't. You see it as, at least, okay, this is where my interpretation is going to come into it a little bit. I'll give my full conclusion later, but right now my interpretation is going to say that you see this happen. You see the shadow figure of Marvin fucking around with a windmill. I don't know, like 7 or 8 episodes later, you see the inside of the windmill with Belle. That is, she's basically like tied up inside this windmill, attached to like one of the contraptions that runs it, and another version of the tool that you've been talking to.
Right into her.
Yep.
Would you call this the machine?
I might call this the machine, as you guys might have heard Doug talk about. And this is one of those things, and this is where a couple of the pieces fall into place. You now realize that Marvin is only here because he feels fucking bad for what has happened, okay? You see that Belle is only there to display what happened, which is obviously a a torturous decline to death. You see her basically tied up in the windmill with this sharp tool slowly going towards her, and when it touches her, gone.
Gone, boy.
Yep, absolutely done. And that's kind of, at least for when I was watching through this, I mean, there's a couple of points where you see, like, gravestones and shit like that, but this point is where I started to get freaked out about the whole thing, just because the storytelling is so fucking good. Like, it puts you in the place of it. It makes you play the character. And
It's very detailed, and there's a lot to it. Again, we're being brief on it. But
absolutely, yeah. But no, from what we've learned so far, like, this is almost kind of like Paul's interpretation of what's happening. And that's a point I want to dwell on for a second, because there are so many fucking interpretations of this that I'd rather take one from somebody who has played the fucking game. And that's where we are. Now, I know that we've been throwing a lot of concepts at you guys, like a fuckload, and, like, we get it. This is convoluted, this is weird, this is very hard to figure out, but it was kind of designed to be that way. And one of the points that I'd like to touch on is the name Care. Now, I know we haven't really talked about it too much, but Care is one of the driving forces of this whole story. One of the first things you hear about. Honestly, I think it's like episode 2 or 3.
you stumble across her, even.
Yes, you find that there is Care A, there's Care B, and there's Care NLM. Now, I'm not 100% sure on what NLM means, but
Nobody loves me.
I am now 100% sure on what NLM means.
Care. So there's 3 levels to pets.
It's different
level
levels of
A.
agitation.
Yeah, there's level
Yeah.
A, level B, and NLM. Level A is when your pet is happy. Level B is when they're kind of somewhat upset, agitated. NLM is when they're like just a broken
Lost.
person. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just
But the fucked up
a
thing,
crumbled shell of a husky thing.
the fucked up thing about this is like, so you get a literal, like, you find a note in game saying Care A, Care B, Care NLM. You don't get any of that for any of the pets, right? You can just capture them. It's like, oh, it says, oh, caught, and there's some happy music, and it gives you some fucking information about it. And then, as you're scrolling through the Pets Caught page, you see the last page, and there are 3 humanoid silhouettes and 1 very, very mysterious silhouette. And that kind of implies that, are pets and people the same in this instance?
Yeah, this whole time you're just going around catching like flowers and like clouds and rainbows,
Yeah.
and now you can catch humans.
People.
You figure out you can catch people.
Different forms of people. So, like I said, Care A, Care B, and Care NLM. Those are the 3 stages, and that's a huge trope in this whole series. So if you can look out for other instances of people being a part of Care, like their A value, their B value, and their nobody loves me value, that's a huge trope. So, Care. Why is she important? Do you guys know?
She's their daughter.
No. That's a rhetorical question.
Dang. Don't ask me rhetorical questions. I'll give you a rhetorical answer.
Care is incredibly important because she is the daughter of Marvin and Anna. Now, I know I haven't told you who Anna is, but you guys have heard the term Lena. Yeah? The name Lena?
Yep.
We just talked a whole bunch about her.
I said it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she died,
Stabbed.
and her sister's name was Anna. Marvin used to be involved with Lena. Now, when that happened, he was so distressed that he needed to find somebody else to project his feelings onto, and that was Lena's sister, Anna. They had a daughter together. Technically, the name was Carrie. However, we see it supposed as the word care. Now, I hope that opens at least one door for you fuckers, because think about it. Marvin and Lena. Lena dies. Marvin and Anna have a daughter named Care. Lena is no longer a part of the picture. This whole series is about rebirth, like reabsorption into life. Marvin 100% thinks that Care is Lena, his old wife. He is absolutely infatuated with this, and he is determined to bring her back to where she was.
And we figure that out with that note that
This is his
we went
fucking.
over.
This is his fucking daughter. His daughter was born, and he's like, "Oh, you're my wife." What are you fucking talking about, man?
Shit happens.
Yeah. So this is kind of where we get a glimpse into the derangement about this whole fucking series. So we've learned about Marvin. We've learned about Lena. We've learned a bit about Care, in the fact that Care and Lena might be the same person in regards to rebirth and whatever culty tropes you might take from all of that, but like he's convinced that Care and Lena are the same fucking person. And that kind of drives him. That's why you see him so frantic in all the videos. I mean, there's a video that you see him, the shadow person, Marvin, running around in circles in front of a picture and like going to the next picture, running around in circles.
He's like a happy dog.
Yeah. But the weird thing is after that's all done, he walks in one direction and it's almost like he tries to go a direction into a wall, but it's not there. Which leads everyone to believe that this is not the first generation of this game at all. And it's very subtle. It's very fucking subtle because the movements he makes are so purposeful that it's almost like, think about it, like Mike on the way
It's
to
like
work.
you try going through a doorway, and now the doorway.
How do you get to work?
The highway.
Okay, after the highway, what do you do?
Park my car.
Your store's on the highway.
I drive to my location.
You turn off.
Yes.
There's any exits you take?
Yeah.
Cool. Is it a very, very, very voluntary action that you do to get off the highway, or is it more or less just
I
like
have to.
a fucking passing gesture?
Yeah, it's just a thought.
Exactly. And that's what's happening here. It's passing gestures. There's a remnant of Marvin left in this fucking game that is doing what it does best. It goes to locations, it divulges information, and then it tries to silence you. And that's kind of the part we're getting to next.
Rainer?
Yes. You know who
knew
Rainer
it.
is?
He's the guy that wants revenge.
You're not wrong. So Rainer is a name that you guys are going to see over and over and over again in this fucking, I don't know, ARG, like, what? How would we classify this? Story? It's just,
Doug's
it's a
done.
fucking, it's a story. Yeah. Doug's like, I don't fucking care. No, we see Rainer over and over again, almost like a previous narrator. Like, he fills the role of somebody who has a ton of information about everything in this game, but he doesn't divulge all of it to you. And, like, that's, A, mysterious all by itself, but B, Rainer has been shown in multiple Petscop videos to hold the title of New Maker, which is what Paul gets as well as New Maker, which means it leads you to believe that he was a player, right? He at least used to be.
Rainer, to make it very easy, kind of sums it up as he knows what Marvin's up to, and he's
Yes.
leaving you clues about what he's up to.
Exactly, and
That's basically Rainer's. That's basically
Goosebumps.
Rainer's whole agenda. Is he's
Yes.
basically warning you about Marvin.
The problem is that he can't give us all the information.
Yes,
I
so
know,
you have to find it
because-
yourself through playing the game.
but
Because through a couple different time variations and
time
things
dilation
that
is
are
a thing.
very hard to explain, he can't leave us clues like he wants
He
to.
can't. And so, like, as Doug just said, the time variations. There's a lot of instances where the
Yeah,
timelines just don't make sense.
You find out through the game that there's like 3 different time frames. There's like the 1970s, 1990s, and then 2000s. So
There's a part of it's a quote from the game where they say that Rainer disappears in both 1997 and 2000, and also comes back at Christmas in 1997 and 2000.
Yep.
At the same time.
But yeah, Rainer's
Like,
just there as like he's warning you. He's trying to leave you clues about Marvin being
So-
a bad boy.
So think New Maker, right? Right now, Paul, through the tool, has found out that he is a New Maker. He goes, "Who am I?" The tool responds, "New Maker." if we know that Rainer is a new maker as well, that means there are multiple fucking generations of this goddamn story. And we're not going to touch a whole lot on this because that's a whole episode by itself, but there are 15 generations of this story, and throughout the entirety of this telling, you're going to go through all 15, and you're going to repeat, and you might go back again. Like, it's
Bananas.
sporadically broken up. And that's why you see things like, again, with Rainer, you see that he was missing in 1997 and 2000. I think the quote was that you've been gone since, I think, what was it, June or July?
June.
Of 1997 and 2000. Why did it take so long? Like, what does that mean?
The weird part is that it also correlates to care.
Yep.
Yep. Do we want to fuck it? Let's just dump into that.
Well, what?
The
Well,
care
one of the-
connection?
I mean, we have one last character. Well, never mind. I guess, yeah. Well, there's...
I promise this is the last thing I'm talking about. After this, we're gonna go into our conclusions, what we think happened. This is the last piece of information that you need.
Well, since Mike is in such a rush to get to the end of the story.
No, I'm not in a rush. I just... I'm not in a rush.
Okay. Whatever. There's a huge connection here. When Jason was speaking about him basically being like, why were you gone so long? It applies to two different characters at the same time. We're listening to the, I don't even know what to fucking call it. The narrator, whatever you want to say.
Paul,
Tool,
Something.
whoever's
Paul, P-A-L-L, yeah.
Pal.
We're getting
Guys,
a lot of
go
different-
watch the fucking series.
Yeah, we're getting this story told in almost the same story in two different subjects.
Yeah, it's incoherent chunks.
One of the biggest things that we haven't actually touched on is Care's backstory, which actually ties in straight to Rainer's backstory. So in a nutshell, to put this into words, we learned that so Marvin is convinced that his daughter Care is reborn from Lena.
Yep.
But we also get this chunk of story where we learn that in less words than what I'm going to tell you that he actually kidnapped his own daughter for 5 months and put her into an abandoned school where she studied, and then 2 days before her birthday she escaped the school, which is one of the big tropes we see where we see the
You've
shadow
escaped.
person. Yes. And we see where's the school. And then there's 2 days in between her escaping the school and her birthday where we see him say, where were you? Why did it take so long? We don't know what she was doing in those 2 days. We don't know what Rainer was doing in those fucking 10 years separated.
And this, so, I'm sorry, Doug, to cut you off.
No,
here, but,
absolutely.
This is indicative of this whole story. Like, you think you know what's going on, and then all of a sudden, a fucking wrench gets thrown in your plans.
That's the love-hate relationship with Petscop.
Honestly,
I hate this.
This is as good a time as ever. Let's fucking get into the story end. And I say end.
Can we touch on Michael, semi-quick? He's a dead guy.
No,
you
that's-
come across his tombstone.
honestly, that's part of it.
Dead 7-year-old.
Yeah.
This is. I say story end like there is an ending. There is not. This
It's
we
still
all
going.
have. It's maybe.
Yeah,
who knows? Like, who fucking knows? But we all have different interpretations of what has actually happened here. So, do you guys want to recap real quick with what happened real quick?
Yeah.
Like, super dummy
Show me the
version.
timer.
Show you the timer? Okay.
Yeah, I can give you my goddamn TLDR of this.
Okay.
Too long didn't read. So there's multiple plots to Petscop. The first one that you come across that seems kind of like the obvious main story, which you find out is not the main story, is a lot of this has to do with a woman or a little girl named Candace Newmaker. In the early 2000s, this is something that actually happened in real life.
Yeah, no, he's not lying. This
was
is a real thing.
She was an orphan that was adopted by this woman. I forgot her first name, but it's something Newmaker. Candace was apparently started acting out because she didn't really mesh well with her adopted mom, and so the adopted nurse mom takes her to this like psychotherapy thing where they go through a rebirth. They call it a rebirth, where essentially they wrap the kid in blankets. They kind of put pressure on her by sitting on them. The kid has to wiggle their way out of the blankets, and it's kind of like them being born again. And it's supposed to be like this way for them to have a better relationship with their adopted parents. Mama Newmaker and these two nurses sat on Candace Newmaker for a bit too long. She suffocated and died. They all got prison time, not for long enough, because I'm pretty sure they're out now. But
she didn't even die right away, which is the
it
fucking
took,
sad
I think,
part.
an hour and a half for her to fully suffocate and die, unfortunately. But the big connection to this is obviously you're called Newmaker. You're on the Newmaker realm. There is a pet named Randus, which is one letter off from Candace. The whole topic of this whole story is rebirth. Rebirth comes up a lot. The company, quote unquote, that made Petscop is called
Give it to me.
Carolina. This whole story of Candace Newmaker took place in Carolina. So that's kind of the surface level what's going on. Like, it's kind of like a side story. The other story is this guy Marvin took these two girls, Lena and Anna, to a windmill, stabbed Lena, married Anna, had a kid named Care.
Carrie.
Carrie, I'm calling her Care for this.
Okay.
Anna and Marvin got divorced. You come across calendars a lot in the game, and on those calendars
Almost every room.
And on those calendars is like the time that he gets to spend with his daughter Care.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to slowly see that he gets more and more, or less and less time with her as he's losing custody of her, until he kidnaps her like he does in the game. He kidnaps her in the game. He takes her from her mom. She escapes, and in the calendar on the game, you see these green blocks on the calendar representing that he has control of her. And then the day that she escapes, 2 days before her birthday, the calendar is free again. He doesn't have her.
Holy.
Raynor, Marvin also kills Michael Hammond, which you find this tombstone for Michael Hammond in the game. Raynor is related to Michael Hammond. I believe it's his son or his father. I don't remember all the way.
There's also a weird theory about fucking Michael being Belle. And
yeah, but you also Raynor gets upset that Marvin killed Michael. He also discovers that Michael killed Lena. He also discovers that Marvin killed a woman named Belle. And so Raynor basically traps Marvin in this video game. He finds a way to trap his essence in this game. And Marvin is trying to get out by using Paul as a way to escape.
Holy shit. Do you guys remember when Paul is talking to the pink tool,
and it talks about how she's in pain.
PlayStation, and as long as the PlayStation's on, he hurts me with the tool.
Yep, Tool is supposed to represent
Marvin is how.
Tool is supposed to represent Belle, because in the game, when you go to the windmill, you see a woman. Jason mentioned it before. You see a woman kind of up on the top of the windmill, and you see what looks like a mini version of the Tool enter her. It's supposed to represent Marvin stabbing her.
After it fucking goes away,
her
you see
essence is in Tool.
You see a gravestone in that fucking platform that you see with what's her name? God, I forgot her name.
But
Not
that's
Anna,
I'm dumping a lot onto you people, but I'm just giving you like a very fast 1-2-1-2.
You are legit spitting fire right now. Like, this all makes way too much sense for me.
But Marvin is trying to escape the game, or another theory is that he knows he can't escape the game, so he's trying to make Paul like him, which you can kind of see because throughout the game, Marvin's character is teaching Paul things. He's teaching Paul music. He's teaching Paul how to...
He's grooming him.
Yeah, he's grooming him. And there's also a whole time difference here.
Holy
like
shit,
we mentioned before.
The party room.
Yep.
When he goes to fucking Lena's room.
Yeah.
The party area and like...
The Quitter's room, there's a bunch of stuff in there as well. Which,
Holy shit,
again,
you're
going
blowing
back
my
to the
mind, man.
original theory with Candace Newmaker, the orphan,
actual story.
Yeah, the actual story of the orphan woman who suffocated from the rebirthing thing.
Yep.
Real quick, just to touch on something that you kind of briefly like went past. One of the things that you see in Petscop 23, we're introduced to these 8 rooms. If you remember that.
Yeah.
Real quick, hang on.
Room 1
before
thing,
you
right?
start that, because my thing is done in one sentence.
Okay.
During they recorded the session with Candace being suffocated. There you can actually see the transcripts online. The nurses and everything call her a quitter. You go to a place called the Quitter's Room, and that's where you find more information on Care, who is supposed to be kind of not representing Candace, but it could be taken that way.
And so basically what I was going to say is essentially in Petscop 23, we're introduced to these 8 rooms. You see him going in and out, in and out, in and out into like all these rooms.
Oh, isn't one of them where he like walks in twice and
Yeah,
sees different
so
shit? That's a temporal bullshit, but keep going.
Yeah, and it's similar to the ghost room from Petscop 16.
Yep.
Which we have to imply that basically it means that multiple children are being kept.
Mm-hmm.
That's
in
the whole thing,
captivity
is
by
that Marvin is killing multiple children. Marvin
Yeah.
is a children murderer
Yeah,
and
think
abuser.
Albert Fish or John Wayne Gacy,
no.
but of his time.
Which kind of ties in the 48 pets, which the pets could also be children.
Yep.
This whole thing
Slash
is basically
victims.
a story about how this Marvin guy is a bad guy.
It almost it sounds like a fucking memoir.
There are, and I shit you not, so many stories in this. Like that Candace Newmaker story
Yep.
has nothing to do with the rest of these other stories at all. Like, so
Here, Mike, let's break down the similarities real quick. So Candace Newmaker plane, right?
yeah, that's it.
Candace's middle name is Tiara.
Yeah.
There's a Tiara in this
Well,
story.
Tiara is Candace's real middle name when she was adopted. Her real name was Candace Tiara, and
Right.
then it was changed, I think, by the nurse mom.
Tiara is a character in Petscop that is almost synonymous with Belle, which fucking makes sense when it comes to Candace Newmaker. Candace Newmaker also did some of the same shit that Marvin is doing. Like,
I'm pretty sure. Well, like, I think they started off. The creators of this game started off like, we're gonna tell this story about this orphan that was suffocated by her shitty nurse mom, and then it got so big they're like, let's continue it and develop this entirely new story, and just kind of rolled with it. Because again, the Candace Newmaker story has nothing to do with the rest of this besides just similar names. They're not related in any way except the names are kind of the same.
and before you go for, can I make a point real quick?
Yeah.
Every single fucking theory about what is happening in Petscop follows that same line.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, it's not that it's like there's like, oh, it's a murder. Oh, it's this woman
It's
who
multiple
fucking
shit.
yeah, no, there's nothing concrete.
There's different
could-
dimensions. You find out at one point that there's subtle rotations that you can go through to change outcomes.
And
There's
it is finally
so fucking
discovered. It's finally discovered there are 6 very concrete and very, very plausible plots to this fucking story.
That's why we cannot stress enough. You gotta
Go
watch it.
You have to. You
because
have to
we
watch it.
cannot cover all of this plot lines because there's so much in every single plot line. The fucking Candace Newmaker one alone would be
we
the
could do a
size
whole
of this
episode.
episode. So
To be fair, the whole like trope of this whole story is trauma.
yeah,
And
it's definitely something. Yeah.
You see it in a lot of different instances, even with like some of the pets, like Toneth, the fucking bird with
Yes.
the broken leg.
Yeah, well,
is like a weird metaphor for
the
like
dog.
the dog being, you know.
so
and
oh god.
Again,
See,
we
I didn't
left
wanna
out a
touch
lot
on
of
that because,
details.
like, dogs getting hit by cars is not a fun topic.
no, and especially if the dog lives and you have to go through its recovery, and like that's the whole point of Toneth is that you can actually see some of its like early development work, and you see that it doesn't
guys-
have a broken leg, and then it does, and it's
Guys, there's so much to this story, and I know that it like
I know that's kind of our
surface-
thing where we go over like the mass details and something, but I shit you not.
You
I
have
am,
to watch it. You
I am
have to watch
not exaggerating when I say if we went over everything, it'd be like a 7-part episode. We just literally can't.
There's only
Please watch
24.
it.
There's 24 videos, and most of them are like 2 minutes. Like most of them, and please go watch it. There's so many metaphors, but this is as good a time as ever. Do you guys want to get into some theories? Mike, you've already shared yours.
Yeah, I already did mine.
Doug, what do you think?
oh god, I just don't even care anymore. Like,
there's
seriously,
those.
I think there's so when I did a little research into the guy who made this, Tony Dominique, or however you say his last name, he is a artist. He does music. He does videos. He does video games. To be honest, I know he got some of his like inspiration from Marble Hornets, which is something we will also go over in a later point of time.
Give us time.
But to be realistic, this whole story is just an allegory for what I think is the murder and torture of a bunch of children, and it's pretty much outlined in this video game. And even though it's not like explicitly explained in great detail, and more than likely we'll get more videos potentially in the next coming months. We don't have a concrete conclusion to this. I don't think there's any way to do that right now.
That reminds me, a lot of the video uploads happen on specific dates, like on Kara's birthday, when the custody battle happens. And so a lot of them have to do with Christmas, so I doubt we'll see one on Halloween, but we'll probably see one on Christmas.
You're also going to find that the uploads don't coincide with the plot. Like, they're going to be random and sporadic, but they tell the same story as long as you look at them out of fucking order. Like, it's...
This whole thing is just about trauma, abused children.
Here is what I
multiple
think.
Stories of it.
I agree kind of with both of you, except with a bit of a spin to it. So yes, I think it's about abuse. I think it's about like some kind of childhood trauma that happened. I'm not sure if like the storyteller went through it or not. But honestly, this whole thing is... Have you guys ever seen a piece of narrative that is so abusive to the audience?
Oh, like it really teases you way
Not
too
even
much,
that
kind
it
of?
teases you. Like, the uploads are inconsistent. You can't plan on when they're coming, when they're going to
Some of them you
show
can.
up.
Like I said, the main ones come out on like specific dates that
Correct.
correlate with
But the
calendar
rest-
dates in the game.
But the rest?
Yeah, they're
It's
random.
fucking, it's all over the place. There's no specific dates for the uploads. It's just whenever they fucking feel like it's being uploaded. And on top of that, you have a narrator for the first 4 episodes who's ecstatic, excited to show this shit, and is talking to somebody about it. After those episodes, there's a drastic change in his tone. It's almost like somebody is forcing him to do like what they want, not what he wants. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. You even get some sarcastic comments about it, like, "Oh, I'm glad I stumbled on this surprise," or whatever the fuck he says about it, and he goes on to complain that he's playing the game too much, and it's just so obvious that this fucking subject is not happy with what's happening after episode 6.
I feel like that's a meta thing. Like he like I said before, it originally started. I think it originally started off as a game that's supposed to tell the story about that Candace Newmaker woman, and then it got a lot of attention. He felt like he had to make more of a story, and he did. I think that's supposed to represent
Stop breaking the studio, Doug.
I think that's supposed to represent he's tired of making more and just wants it to end. But can't because the people demand it.
We have heard...
Technical difficulties.
Mike, we've heard your theory. Doug, we've heard yours. Do you guys want to hear mine?
I thought you just went over yours.
Oh, that's part of it.
Okay, great.
That's the tip of the iceberg, buddy.
Okay, do it.
So, you guys know a little author by the name of Dr. Seuss?
Never heard of him.
Okay, well, he was a racist.
You're really gonna start it with that?
No, so
hated the Chinese.
So in case you don't know who the fuck that is, he wrote these rhyming children's books with all these fantastical creatures, and like, honestly, growing up reading Dr. Seuss was awesome. I didn't even take into account the racial bullshit that was going on.
And his political cartoons.
Apparently. But there's a story, and oh my god, does it tie into this.
Well, the places you'll go.
Oh, man. So, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, there it is. So, as you are, like, exploring this series, you see that Paul, the person playing the game, he passes by a wall that says, spelled out in stone carvings, "Good grief and alas." What the fuck could that possibly mean?
It's a reference to a Dr. Seuss book, isn't it?
It is a reference to the Dr. Seuss book, Daisy Head Maisie. And it was published in about 1994. It's about a girl who grows a daisy on her head and how she's, like, different. And towards the end of the book, she starts crying and yells, "Nobody loves me."
94 is also when... I heard you.
NLM.
1994 is also when Raynor started developing the game.
Exactly. My theory is that Raynor has experienced
It's
some
Dr. Seuss.
Raynor is Dr. Seuss. Everybody, problem solved. Let's go. No, Raynor has experienced some trauma that he went through and saw others go through. Okay, he identified with it through children's stories, as most children do. Because, well, how old were the children that we see? So, Michael Hammond. We brought him up,
7-ish.
right? We never really talked about him. One of the things you see in the game is a tombstone that says Michael Hammond. What is it?
It don't matter.
He was 9 years old when he died. Essentially, he was a child when he died.
Yeah.
This child's book plays into this story so fucking much. Like, if you read through this story, not only are you going to see the acronyms start making way more fucking sense, you're going to see motifs and tropes like the flower. Now, that's a giant part of Petscop, is you're going to see different flowers in different places.
And you
There's
pick the
a
petals
pet.
off them.
Randus. It's a fucking flower. You're going to see flowers throughout the New Maker plane. You're going to see them in buildings. They all attribute to something. The biggest part, though, is when Paul enters one of the first buildings in the New Maker plane. The first thing he sees is a daisy sitting in the middle of this building. And when you click on it, you start picking petals off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the Dr. Seuss book, the same thing happens, except they're saying, like, loves me not, all that shit. Eventually, the
She
petals are
gets loves
picked
me.
completely off, and turns out they do love her, according to the Dr. Seuss book, okay? So as this daisy that we see in Petscop disappears below the ground, that's kind of the sentiment we're left with. However, because this is such a fucking sarcastic, backwards-ass concept, none of that shit happens to... Who do you think this might happen to?
Care.
Yep, exactly. That is what this is
Because
referencing.
NLM.
And there are so many tropes like this. And honestly, that's all we have for this.
What a theory.
I mean, so kind of going back to what I was saying with the whole like bullshittery, there is one theory that I do like the most out of all of them.
Let's hear it.
And it's really not even like really a theory. It's more of just like it kind of ties into the whole like generation thing and the time looping and the different players.
Yeah.
Which is the multiple players theory. And you see a lot of this in some of the episodes. So like, just for example, to kind of give you a perspective on like what we're seeing here is when we're seeing these different characters. So like if you're Paul, you're seeing yourself as the, weird green goblin thing that we're talking about. When you see Belle, it's the white happy face. And when you see Marvin, it's the gym head. But we also get these episodes where we're seeing the player character with this red pyramid head.
Mm-hmm.
We can assume that it's either Belle or Marvin that we're seeing the perspective from.
Exactly.
We're seeing Belle with the player character head, like Paul's head is what we would refer to it.
And then, as long as they're the player.
Yeah, so like let's say Belle is the player, we're seeing the pyramid head for Paul, we're seeing the player character head for Belle, and then we're seeing the gemstone for Marvin like we would with Paul. But then if you're looking at it in Marvin's perspective, you're seeing the pyramid head for Paul, the smiley face, like the white smiley face head for Belle, and then the player character head for Marvin. So it's like, it's really convoluted in how you're seeing things, and you really need to keep that in mind too when you're looking at all of this.
Yeah,
and like,
absolutely. And that's why we want you guys to go look at this shit, because listen to us talk about it as you're watching. Like, watch through until you're confused, and then fucking press play on the podcast, because we're probably around that point. Like, we have done our research on this. We love this shit, but please go watch this with us.
Again,
like, experience this shit with us. We fucking love it, and we will love you more for it.
Yeah, again, I'm going to probably cap this off by saying...
Yeah, fucking... we have to.
Yeah, this is the longest episode yet. Cap this off by saying this was a very... the time's not brief, but we did very briefly go over things. Like, we probably butchered the shit out of it, to be all honest with you people.
Should be like a
Reddit's going to be up in arms about us.
But you know what? If you guys want us to go more in detail of things, we'll make another episode of it.
Absolutely.
If not... Whatever.
Again,
If you do want us to make an extra episode, no.
well, no,
But
honestly, just
go
wait
watch it. Go
wait-
watch it. There's a lot into it. We barely scratched the surface. There's a lot to it.
If
Go
you want
watch
another
Petscop.
one, wait around until Halloween or Christmas time.
Maybe we
this
will.
year. We might. If there's an update, we might revisit this in the future. But
But that's Petscop.
I'm thinking it's more of a Hanukkah thing.
Yeah.
all right.
Linktree.com/DeludedPod. Go there. Look at all our socials. Love me. Kiss your dad. Blow your grandma. And then suck a tooth for me, please.
And say thank you to Paige.
Thank you, Paige. Again, thank you. Super cool.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
What's your sign off, Jason?
My sign off is, as always, everybody, if this story has not taught you one thing, it should teach you to fucking be paranoid, because who knows what your family might do to you in your sleep.
And Doug?
Get me out of here.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Everybody,
we love you.
Yeah,